Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Justice card, which is representative of truth, fairness, cause and effect, balance, and even the law. Okay. I also want to share, I have a cup of tea here. I'm not sure if you can actually see it on this desk, but my Yogi tea bag today says, uncage your heart, free your heart, let it be wild. Okay. And with that, I'm going to take a little sippy sip. And let's get started. Okay. See what Spirit has to say today. Thank you for another day, Spirit, of communication and co-creation. Please give us a concise message. Let us know what we need to know. Almost turned over today. Hope you're doing well. If I haven't said that already, it's pretty much a standard for me. No matter who you are and where you are, I hope that you are doing well and having a great day. Hope you had a wonderful Lionsgate yesterday. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. To that point, I'm going to just be plain, real plain speaking today. There was a lot of energetic interference and influence yesterday. I could feel the intention of it, and I experienced the effect, as I said, of the intention. The actual success of it all is a negative, based on where I am. Hopefully the same for you, but I could definitely feel like the tug of war between those that were manifesting, energies that were manifesting most high vibrationally and those that were manifesting most low vibrationally, and I mean lowest of the low. And as a matter of fact, I've been feeling the build up to that energy even before the actual day yesterday. There's a lot of things that I experienced that I don't always speak on, but today, especially with these cards coming out first, and me actually feeling very good and very vibrant today, I feel guided to just call it out as it is. And so this is the competition, the energetic competition that was imposed upon many to try to just keep people bound from manifesting ultimately. And that is on every level of life force, on a very universal and general level to a very intimate and personal level. It's known, people that have been vibrating in the adverse energy and the lower vibrations know more about the celestial force and astrology, astronomy, and just the flow of the universe, more so than people that are more high vibrational and intentional about divine things, and that's the disparity. And also the trick of the enemy's hand, because if you don't know how to respond or react, let alone protect yourself. Lucky for me, I have some amazing angelic forces and light forces in my corner that are always looking out, always empowering me, myself, even on the ways to protect myself or be proactive about my protection, as well as being the protective force from an intangible space. And that's the case for many of us. I do believe, especially those that are of this divine gifting, that either are first and foremost, absolutely are gifts of the divine, and that are intentional about possessing the gifts and fruits of the divine and projecting and producing them. So that's the present of our presence, being in the earth, that we come with a protection that is inconceivable to most. As a matter of fact, it doesn't mean that the adverse energy won't try to influence or interfere or impact in some way, because it absolutely will and does. As seen here in the Five of Wands, it was just like I said, like a tug of war. Like they were already in position to try to counteract any chance of any possibility of positive manifestation. But the thing about it is that no earthbound entities, no matter what source or force they think they're connecting with, are any match truly for the most divine source, the supreme source of all. That even when they think they're keeping people bound and blocked and blind to their own possibilities, to any projection of the future, to any spirit of liberty or freedom or autonomy, even for that matter, it's just an illusion even unto them, as to the nature of their true power. And a lot, I would say, even with this Five of Swords, is that they're defeating themselves ultimately. It's like you're wearing yourselves out trying to do so much when you would be much better off internalizing that force, which it is a force. Nobody's disputing that. You are powerful. The adverse energy has had a hold on this realm for a long time, even from our unconscious interactions to now, where people are waking up and actually realizing where they've been blocked and bound and blinded in their own existence. Even with that new self-awareness, there's still been this great stronghold and tug of war on the spirit for ultimately independence and autonomy. So it's clear there's power there. It's just, would you use it for something of high value, something that's productive even unto yourself? Because all it does is continue to put you at odds with you and with people like you, or with energies like you, and ultimately you guys are going to end up killing yourselves. I mean, that's the end of the road here. There's no light at the end of the tunnel of that vibration. It has to come to an end, or it has to be transmuted into something that's far more formidable by the spirit standard. So it's like, enough is enough already, really. And it's like, I get it. Yeah, it's the Strength card. I get it. That's what you're here to do. You're playing your part well, because those that, to this point of the Strength card, this is exactly what you've magnified. This disparity here from those that have been blocked and bound and burdened and unaware of self, and just stuck in many ways and shapes and forms, almost in a spiritual prison in a sense. It's been more of a training ground and a boot camp for us to really, realize our own power truthfully, and to see that we are autonomous, and we do hold the fate of our liberty in our own hands. As with the Eight of Swords card, she can easily take those blindfolds off, take those bandages off, grab a sword and be on her way. This is not an imprisonment that's indefinite. It's one that's more or less been that there's some agreement upon, or agreement with. There's some acceptance of, when you feel like you're helpless, or you have nowhere to turn, or you're at a dead end, or you're stuck. That's a self-imposed imprisonment that adverse energies can attach to based on the illusion of such. But as soon as you become clear of your true power and your strength, all of those blockages and burdens just melt away. It's as if they don't even exist. And you leave the adverse energy left to pretty much fight with themselves, and remembering that the Justice card was at the top of all of this. This is the energy that has to be reconciled. When we talk about justice, it's about, one of the aspects is about cause and effect, and knowing that every action, for every action there's a reaction, more or less. That's more the scientific aspect of it, but that there must be an accountability for every action expended. Nothing goes unchecked or unnoticed. Now, the universe deals with it justifiably and in fairness and with balance, but most certainly there will be a reckoning for any unjustified actions that have occurred. So again, it's like, enough is enough already. You know, the strength has been solidified at this point. This is of the past. Even if the illusion on the projection outside looks and appears as such, I assure you, you, sir, ma'am, are standing in the strength of your power. Whatever situation that you might be facing or enduring or incurring at this time, you've already proven yourself to be the victor. You've already proven yourself to be the master of your own fate, and one that can surmount great feats and has surmounted great feats, because you had all this energy going on, you know, somewhere on the sidelines perhaps, and maybe even closer to you than you may think, as these two cards came out together. But you still are standing in the strength of your own independence. You still have overcome even your most animalistic natures, your most carnal conceptions with the lion here, that would have overtaken you on its own. You know, I feel like our greatest enemy is ourselves. And when we have found ourselves in a position to have overcome addictions and obsessions and codependencies and fears and guilt and shame, and, you know, those are all the internal things first and foremost, and then add on top of that all of the external projections that we deal with from every level of interference, every level of influence. You know, there's no match here for someone that has proven themselves to be victorious, you know. Yeah, and this moon card, this is about the energies that have been doing too much, like I said, under the surface. You know, this has been where the energetic pull, it's like always going to be, it has been a persistent play, and you know, it's just been a play on your emotions, you know, to manipulate your external environment to make you feel, or manipulate projections from your external environment to make you feel a certain way about yourself, when the reality is that you're free, you know, that you are strong, that you are courageous, that you are confident. But they manipulate projections from behind the veil and from under the surface, behind the scenes, unbeknownst to you. Ultimately, this could be as primitive as people talking about you and spreading lies and untruths. Look at all these sores around her. She don't even know that this communication is happening around her without her knowledge, you know. Or they manipulate your physical environment to make you feel as if you don't have any hope, or there's no, you know, make you feel like maybe you're missing something, you know, maybe something's wrong with you, you're the odd man out, you're doing something wrong, or, you know, have the wrong idea or ideals about yourself and about your surroundings. It's all to just stir up this emotional turmoil within yourself to disrupt the strength that you've already cultivated. So I would say the moon vibration is one that, you know, for you, it gets to be revered in the highest form of what it is. And that's, you know, just fueling that, being a light in the night, you know, as you are going through whatever situation you're coming through or coming out of, you know, not allowing those vibrations to be a detriment to your determination, but just being signposts. So as I said, I was feeling the energy, you know, I was feeling the vibration of objection and, you know, obstinance and things like that. But I didn't allow that to take over my day. I didn't allow that to disrupt my focus of manifestation. I didn't allow it to disrupt my peace. It was just a signpost, like literally a light post in the night. Like, oh, okay, somebody's on some bullshit, pretty much. When you sense even the imbalance in how you feel, or your physical being, your emotional, you know, for a woman as well, you know, the moon energy is very significant, especially related to Cancer, which is the most intuitive sign. energetically, and is also connected to the feminine force, the motherly instincts and maternal love and self-love even. And that is not just exclusively female, but it's that aspect of us all that we're always invited to stay tapped in and tuned into, from whence our strength does come in a very sensational world, where the sensations of our external influences can be very misleading at times. We do have that internal compass, so that when things are going on in the dark or under the surface, we're always queued up to what's what. Like I said, she's never really blind. She's never really bound. She's never really burdened, really and truly. Not when she knows that she isn't. Not when she's able to reflect upon her experiences and the evidence of the things that she's overcome. And look, I saw the Page of Swords under here. Always lurking, always watching, looking for opportunities to stop and block, But the move that, like I said, for us that are of a divine devotion and determination, and that doesn't have to be religious or spiritual. That's about being intentional about alignment to your highest self, which is also very much so an expression of the Justice card. Balance in the simplest form. You allow the cues of the imbalances in life, those emotional, that emotional intelligence, that dis-ease in the spirit, when you have everything to be happy and thankful and peaceful about, but you feel a twinge of something that feels unfamiliar. And to that point, I would like to say, be very mindful of projections during this time, because for those that can't get to you because they're too far away, they'll project energy onto you. Even, like I said, like I always say, not just from an intimate perspective, it's universal too. When you're watching the news and different media channels, be careful of how the message is trying to impose a certain emotion upon you, to make you feel incited to think a certain way, and then in hopes that your actions will align and you'll manifest that vibration in physical form. You got to be careful of even the propaganda that we see on a more universal space, not just, let alone your family and friends, or those that you feel you have some connection or some, there's some affinity for or with. Be clear about what you're feeling. Don't dismiss it. Don't make yourself feel like you're overthinking, you're doing too much or feeling too much, being too sensitive. Right now, you can't be sensitive enough to the things that you're feeling in your own body, because that's the first sign and signal that something is imbalanced. Again, Justice card, that something is unjustified. There should be a continuous wave of balance. And it's hard to cultivate given the realm that we live in, but it's not hard to manage as long as you're willing to engage. It may feel like it's an endless task in a sense, because we're always encountering some message or some method of interference or influence or impact. However, as many times as you have to tame it is as many times as you should, and claim yourself to be the victor over it. And also, don't condemn it as something that is don't condemn yourself for feeling the way that you feel, if anything. And also don't condemn the feeling, because the feeling is your friend. To feel that sign that something is not right is a gift, like that Ace of Pentacles card. That's a gift from the divine, to even be sensationally aware and in tune enough to catch that intel when it's coming through. Those that are not able to connect with their emotions, or resist their emotions, reject their feelings, or even overpowered by them, as a matter of fact, that literally get washed away in the current of their own emotions and can't find balance. Those are the ones that are truly blocked and bound. Those are the ones that have no self-control over their actions and reactions. Those are the ones that are these individuals here, and these Five of Wands, that just impulsively do things for their own self-satisfaction and for the sanctity of their own egos, which is what this is. This is literally a dick measuring contest, female or masculine, doesn't matter. They could be all of one or the other or both. But this is people that all feel like they have something to prove to themselves first and foremost, and then to society or whatever surroundings they submit to or contribute to. And therefore, that's what rules their, that's what pretty much rules their actions and reactions. That's not a autonomous, independent, secure space to operate in, as in the Strength card. That's someone that doesn't have the power over their carnal selves, or otherwise they would resist these impulses and urges to impose or inflict disruptions against others, even for their own self-satisfaction. That's unjustified in this realm. Once upon a time, it was moving, it was shaking, and it was bringing a return and a result. But the spirit is no longer allowing for that to be the prominent force. It's too imbalanced. There is a huge disparity between the haves and the have-nots. And unfortunately, the haves that have been having on account of this vibration have not done anything productive with it. They've still been using it to maintain this eternal vibration of chaos. And that chaos has not produced any fruit in the world, nothing lasting. It's all sour and it's all perishable. It's poison, as a matter of fact. So take heart that even in your most emotional self, if you can be intentional about the balance and really calling in the true intel, of what you're feeling, literally just ask in the spirit, like, what does this mean? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I perceiving this person, place, or thing this way? Why do I not feel well or comfortable with myself in these circumstances? What is this intel leading me to? What is this guiding me to? What do I need to do now as a response and reaction? Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's just literally being aware, being aware of your present position and being intentional about the intel, using the intel for some productive purpose. And then the spirit oftentimes will come and bring you the answer as to what gets to be done or what doesn't. I think sometimes we get and stuck in the chaos and confusion of ourselves, thinking that there's always something that we have to react to immediately. And that's just not so. You allow the spirit to co-create with you with the proper response, so that you can create something that is, that is fortifying and productive, and not, inflicting more pain upon yourself, or persecution, I should say, upon yourself, more burden. Yeah, and here's that 10 of Pentacles. And well, here's the Ace of Pentacles here first. That's the gift, right? And I'm going to switch these because I just feel it that way. That's the gift. And it's like, out of this state of chaos and confusion, it almost seems like it takes forever for this burdensome energy to release you or to subside, or for some of us, it feels like it's never ending. You know what I mean? Because like I said, there's always something to contend with. There's always some emotion that's unfavorable or unwanted, or some energy that feels out of balance, or some circumstance that is not quite what you would idealize it for it to be. But I would also like to say, in the adverse of this energy here, especially with the Moon card, we are still in Lionsgate. This is still very much a time for you to manifest those favorable outcomes and experiences for yourself, that no matter how long it has taken, and that has been the imposition of adverse energy to make you still feel like you're still bound to some old cycle of chaos and confusion and codependency, or just impotency in general, in the masculine and feminine sense. Like, you can't do anything, you can't perform, your hands are stuck, you're bound. I don't know why it came out as impotence, but I'm just flowing with the spirit right now. But giving you this illusion that, you know, you're locked in to some undesirable determination that you know you don't deserve. You know, that's been the projection of interference that was happening. Because if that interference can make you doubt if it can distort your perception of the presence, then it can also start to speak to you. Well, it does that by bringing back the past and giving you projections of the past and what you haven't been able to do, what you always have done, or where, you know, the position you've always been in, as if that's what it always is and what it always shall be. And it sends certain vibrations to you about how you should feel about that presence, your presence as it is now. And then that then imposes different thoughts and assigns a meaning to those emotions, so that being your manifestation force will ultimately just continue to fuel you like that dirty oil in the car, like continue to fuel through instead of it being flushed out for you to receive that tune-up, that fresh oil, that fresh intel, to allow you to move in a different direction, to allow you to perceive a new favorable outcome, no matter what your surrounding circumstances are, no matter what your present position is, that there's always a possibility for something greater and more profound than what you're experiencing. And that's what this is giving me here, like to keep you burdened. And I always like to point out that these are burdens that one carries more or less voluntarily, that you're carrying burdens that don't even belong to you. You can lay these down at any time. You can literally decide which of these responsibilities, or, you know, in this case, much more burdens than even responsibilities is what it implies, that there's more that you're carrying on your back than what's even necessary for your move forward. And it's in fact what's slowing you down. And it's energetically, you know, the wands are energy. And again, that force fuel of yours, that passion of yours, like maybe having a passion for too many people, places, and things that are draining your energy more than they actually are exchanging fuel with you, or being, you know, some prosperous exchange of positivity, or, you know, whatever. It's taking more out of you to carry this than it is to you know, to just lay it down ultimately. Or maybe it's taking more out of you to lay it down than it is to carry. That's also a thing, because sometimes we carry it because we feel like it's our obligation to, and it's almost a burden to lay it down, or we create one in a sense because we're afraid of what might happen if we do lay it down or leave it behind, who we might disappoint, who might disconnect from us, what people might say, you know, or what people might do, how people might perceive us, accept us, reject us, whatever the case may be. And this is why we carry it in the first place, okay? So back to this energy here, because this is obsolete. If you say so today, then it's as simple as that. You know, you don't have, he'll never put more on you than you can bear. You know, we do the burden bearing more than the spirit does. You know, we decide and take on things that were not even ordained for us to take on. And yes, some of it is external projections that we carry on for ourselves. But as I said, it's up to you to decide. Take that blindfold off, release those hands, and be discerning enough to know, like, no, that's not mine. That doesn't belong to me, or it once was, but it's not no more, and I'm going to leave it there. People, places, and things, okay? And so here we have this energy here with the Knight of Pentacles to the Ace of Pentacles, because it's like that gift has taken it's been a long time coming, this awareness, this very tangible essence of opportunity that, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, he's worked hard for that pentacle. That's what this card implies. You know, he's put in a lot of work. He's grown a lot. He's, you know, taken his time, as opposed to the other knights that have mostly moved fast and furious or made some slick maneuver one way or another to gain this present position. He's like, slow money. For real. Like, he's slow and steady wins the race type of energy. And that's exactly the vibration here. The slow energy, seemingly slow anyway, is what gains the ultimate prize, because he recognized the value of himself enough to know that he was above this vibration here where everybody's fast and furious. Everybody's looking to acquire something as quickly as possible and, at the greatest magnitude as possible, really looking to show their strength and their power and their authority, very pride conscious in a sense, where he didn't care that people were laughing at him, that he was taking all day, or he was at the last one in the race. The rest of them have pretty much fallen along the trail or fallen along the course, where he's made it, that this gift is here, and it seemed like it's taken a long time through all of the distractions and disturbances and interferences and projections. And now it's at the point where it's here for you, whomever you are. Don't get finessed and blocked into these old patterns of burden and barrenness, with people that ultimately don't have anything to lose because they've already lost it all, including their souls. Unfortunately, I guess, I don't know. But you don't get caught up in that energy feeling like you have to backtrack and do anything differently or fast forward ahead to do anything impulsively. Let the Spirit speak to you. Tune into those signs and signals as to what you specifically, uniquely get to do next. As you've already been moving slow and steady, there's no rush now, and right now with this gateway of energy that we're in, a part of that interference is making you feel like you're about to miss out on something. If you don't do this, you're going to lose out on that. Or if you don't, and yes, we are in a timed realm, I used to think that time was an illusion, but my ideas of that are shifting, and I think the projections of time that we've been conditioned to are illusionary, but time is still very much of the essence, and we are moving in divine time. But even as the Bible says, what is it, like a day is like 1,000, I don't know, I forget, it's like an hour is like 1,000 days in the spirit, or there's just this great disparity between the timing that we subscribe to in the earth and the timing of the divine. And there's a synchronicity indeed, but more so on account of us relenting and surrendering to the flow as it's playing out in the earth, not by the projections of what external influences want us to, be impacted by. There's another word I'm looking for that I cannot find today about that influence of interference, and how it's manipulation in a sense, but that's not the word that I'm looking for. But basically that external force wants to make you feel like you're either out of time or that you got to hurry up and do something, like hurry up and buy type of thing before you miss an opportunity. But there's no such thing as long as you're moving in the integrity of your highest self, as long as you're willing to be in alignment with that flow of the universe that is organic, as the Knight of Pentacles is. Look, he's right on time for the blessing that is exactly made for him. Not anybody else's, but the thing that is for him. He's right on time for. So keep going, or keep resting, or keep whatever it is that you're doing, but just stay in tune with those emotional cues. And that now more than ever, like, your emotional intelligence is paramount. It really doesn't matter what what you've always known. It doesn't matter, where you go. It's about you being in tune with what your spiritual supremacy is calling you to. If you on the same watch as that, you Gucci, literally. And here's this Tower card, because there's this, the timing of the universe is such that when we are not willing to stay in alignment with it, and you know what I'm feeling is not that, it's the sudden changes that are occurring. This is not even negative, you know, especially with this Page of Wands here. And here it is again, that interference, you know, trying to make me feel like this is oh my God, something bad is about to happen. You know, this could very much so be this influx of gifts and opportunities are what clear the board and incite a sudden change in your life that just wasn't even holistically expected. And I think I spoke about that yesterday, where it's like there's so much that you've prayed for, you've manifested, you've called in, you've hoped for, you wished for, you even worked for, that you may have even forgotten about, especially during this time where, you know, this still in the spirit of Lionsgate, where the vibration is very intense for manifestation. The flow may come through and respond beyond what justifiably even matches your work, you know, or your will, or more so in a sense where it absolutely does match your work and your will, but you didn't realize just how great of a will that actually was. Like, you didn't know. You may have even forgotten about some of the things that you've called into fruition. And now here it all comes, you know, this big gift, this big opportunity. And for some, maybe it might incite you to have to move, you know, or get to move, not a have to, but get to move, which is here. Page of Wands, this is a new opportunity to expand, to express, to explore yourself in a new territory or a new land. It's something that is unfamiliar in a sense because it's just fresh and new to the norm of your everyday life, you know? And that's the opportunity that we've been it's like we've been so used to praying for it and working for it and wishing and hoping for it that when it comes, it's like, whoa, look at the disparity between the sizes of those coins. It's like he was praying for something seemingly small, or maybe in doses of small, you know, small increments. And it's like, whoa, I was not expecting all that. And it completely uproots your entire life. That's the highest vibration of the Tower card. It could be so shocking that it just completely shifts your direction and your path beyond what you were even expecting. And it will feel new and foreign, and even have you looking at yourself as foreign in a sense, because it gives you a power that's just never been explored before. You've never had the opportunity to go this way before, you know? So I feel like that's really the power of the Tower. Now in the adverse, the Tower is for these people that think they can keep being interferences and influencing your life in a diabolical way. People, spirits, places, things, and I'm talking from the top down, from the most supreme, you know, we talking about the Justice card from the beginning. So for the most supreme authorities in the land and those structures and you know, conglomerates and corporations and things, down to your neighbor next door, you know, someone is close to you and someone that seemingly is distant. There's this energetic force that no longer has a place here. So the Tower would be releasing, you know, dejecting them or ejecting them from this ivory tower that has been erected of sorts of power and authority that's unjustifiable, that has not been productive, has not added any value to the evolution of creation. It's time for those systems to be disrupted. And it may be in some shocking ways, even to those of us that know there's a time for a change, but aren't really prepared for how that gets to look. We don't know how the spirit is going to move. It may make us all feel like kids and foreigners in a strange land to see some of the highest powers of authority be brought down to rubble, you know, in every sense of imagination. It's, you know, even to those that idealize that experience of time and that turnover of power, have no idea the impact that it's truly going to make, you know, universally, one to all. You to have no authority in the land, or, for the authority to be so bruised that it doesn't really have much impact and everyone truly has to operate in their own autonomy and independence. I can speak for myself and trust myself in that, but I don't know if I trust my neighbor to govern himself accordingly with that justice card. I don't know if I can necessarily feel grounded with, people just running around doing anything, at their own free will. That's going to be a great shifting of vibration in the earth that is going to absolutely call for you to be in the highest alignment with yourself, to tune into those gifts, those powers, those vibrational forces that have been handed down to you that maybe you've been disconnected from, but are certainly being reawakened now and reignited. And for some of us, altogether new, just a new vibration you've never experienced before. This is power here with this wand. It's just in the page form because perhaps it's been dormant or just even unknown to you that you even possess this energetic force. But that is the force that gets to be leaned on, not to cause destruction and chaos and confusion and be in competition with others, but to literally explore this new territory of existence in the earth that is evolving day to day, in a way that we all get to be raised to a new vibration of creative consciousness and be existent in that co-creativity with the others that we inhabit this earth with, and as I said, that's a tower that we have been calling in all types of change in our lives, but you never can quite control how the spirit wants to release it or present it. You know what I mean? It's very much so a gift for sure, and it's been a long time coming, but it may shake up more of the norm of your life than you may have prepared for. And I think the key is to just stay in gratitude, like almost be as a child with the Page of Wands, with jovial expectation, with excitement of the adventure forward, that if everything that you've known gets swept away and grounded, that you have the power within you. You've been divinely blessed and gifted with the power within you to create. This is creativity here. It's something out of nothing, or something with the energetic force that you've been given, or recreate something, rebuild a platform and a vibration that is much more fortified and much more forever, because obviously this was fleeting. This wasn't meant to be forever, but there's an evolution of creativity that we're moving towards that is very much so eternal. The key is to just maintain that focus and that divine drive and determination within self, not to be finessed and swayed by these last ditch efforts. It could even be by our very own government to create some distraction of sorts, as if there aren't enough distractions as is. But we're in an election year. The justice card was first out. I put nothing past the powers that be / were to create some new distraction of sorts to try to detain as many of the masses as possible from this evolution of spirit and of energetic force. You can't receive it if you're in this position of self-destruction, or where you're even seeing your circumstances as some detriment or downside. It has to be in this vibration of exploration and excitement and being willing to be teachable, being excited to learn new things about yourself and about life, experience new things that you've never had before, not holding on to dear life of everything that was once comfortable and secure and stable, or what was ideally so. That's what they doing up here. That's what they are doing up here, trying to hold on to every little bit of power and authority and influence that they have from the top down. Again, it's not just one person, it's a spirit of control and confinement that's looking to keep as many imprisoned ultimately with it as possible, because it doesn't have the strength or the courage to move and to do something different, to be something different, to operate in a new way, and to live and let life evolve in such a way that may just cause for a new plan of action, that may cause for a lesser return on the value of energetic force that was invested before. God forbid, that change be a good thing, So those that are afraid to, even if that there be some part of you internally that is afraid to evolve, this is the cycle of chaos that will ensue on the inside and very much lead to an imprisonment of sorts where you don't feel like you can move forward. But those that are willing to go with the flow in the most high vibrational sense, not in the most conventional and traditional sense holistically, but even in the ways that don't seem like they make sense to anyone else. If you're willing to follow that internal flow as the current sways back and forth and is leading you to exactly the surest shore of your life, divinely, then you will indeed inhabit that big money, that big pentacle. And this is not just about money. This is about a stability and a security that is, first of all, unmatched by any material manifestation that we can concoct for ourselves. And it's eternal, it's long lasting, it's divine for a long time. You know what I mean? It's not something that can be here today, gone tomorrow. Even if the dollar itself depletes in value, this energy of creativity and supreme life force will carry you through the worst of times and ultimately to and through the best of such as well. Okay, so let's just see what's on the top. Yep, Hierophant. And that's what I'm saying. And this is the presence of God in the most spiritual and energetic sense. But this is also, as I was saying, like those forces of power that have been erected, that have been conceptualized by our own creativity in the land, that have even positioned themselves to be in power and authority. There's a shifting coming, where I see it here. The disparity here is that the individual is the source of supremacy between these two. That's the shifting that's taking place. That you remember I was saying, like, I don't know if I trust myself, but I don't know if I trust my neighbor. Well, the thing of it is that this is the shift that's occurring, that we're all going to get a chance to be more self-sufficient and sovereign and supreme in our own energetic force, whether you're looking to or not. That's what the evolution of the earth is calling for. And that means that these forces that have positioned themselves to be in authority will either be dismantled or just won't have as much of an impact and an influence because of the shift that's happening in the individual. And that's the justice of the land. That's what it is. It's not I don't think it's even a matter of of punishment or anything of sorts. There's a balancing that's happening for sure, a judgment and a justice that's happening. But I don't even think it's about a punishment. Oh, because our government or our this or, our religion is bad and, the government is corrupt and, some of those aspects of things are true. Corporations are greedy. Capitalism is greed. All those things that there's some truth in. The response universally from the soul source, is not to punish these entities and these establishments of sorts for their misdirection or mismanagement of energy. It's just to balance it out, that people as individuals no longer have to be the little man crushed at the bottom of the totem pole. Now they can actually be their own pole, literally, be their own power. And we are being equipped with the gifts and the resources to do that. The opposition may not approve and may not quietly support or peacefully and easefully support, but when the universe says it's time, it's time. You know, it must be justified that the haves and have-nots, there must be an equal playing ground on account of what's been diabolically superimposed, and not been given a fair shot for all to ultimately partake in the most supreme experience of life that we're all afforded, that we've all been invited to from a very infinite source, that those that have taken responsibility and authority over that justice, like literally being able to say who gets what and when and why and how, but it hasn't been fair. That's the energy that has to be balanced out. And those, everyone, like I said, cause and effect is the justice card. So there will be a reckoning and a responsibility for actions that everyone has contributed to the productivity of society. But in all, it's less about it being a punishment or some prosecution, as much as it is just really just a balancing of truth and spirit and truth in the earth, as it always was intended to be. So that's where we are, that's where we're going. And for, like I said, for those that are in some type of power or force, it might be a tower moment that doesn't feel great. And even for those of us that are on the end of being released or liberated in some sovereign way, even that power itself might feel shocking to the senses, to have so much authority and so much resource and power over your life, not to really, have to answer to much or to anyone. It could be a shock to the senses. So I guess the key here is to prepare yourself for, expect the unexpected and prepare for, the most, I don't even know, like the possibilities to be really to be endless. We've prayed for it with limitation, but when it really shows up at your door, endless possibilities, endless resources, eternal life in a sense, infinite energy to really be able to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. What do you do with it? The key to that is what you're doing with it now in this Lionsgate. This is just a little taste, a little sample of the power and authority that you get to acclaim. Be mindful about what you're creating right now and see the manifestation happen for itself. Actually take notice of what you've been creating since July 28th, even through into August 12th, and just see what you've actually brought to life. That's just a taste of where your power truly lies and how expansive it is, and the potential that you have to just create more and more and more in that regard. Okay, infinite possibilities. Nothing is impossible in this day and age. So definitely be mindful of the energy in which you are creating, because it's the same on either side of the spectrum. Whether good, bad, or indifferent, you will most certainly reap what you sow. All right, let it be seeds, good seeds and good soil. All right, until next time, peace.